Hello students, in this video we are dealing with two Indian English writers named Meena Kandasamy and Jeet Thayil. Let's begin with Meena Kandasamy. Meena Kandasamy is an Indian poet, novelist, translator and activist known for her outspoken writings on caste, gender and politics. She was born in Chennai, Tamil Nadu and studied English literature at Anna University. Kandasamy is a fierce critic of caste-based oppression, gender violence, and right-wing politics in India. Her work often blends poetry and prose with activism, making her one of the most powerful contemporary literary voices in India. So, Meena Kandasamy was born in 1984. She is a poet, novelist, translator, and an activist. She wrote fiercely on caste, gender, and politics. She is a known critic of caste-based oppression, gender violence, and right-wing politics in India. So, her work often blends with activism. Her major works: novels. 1. The Gypsy Goddess, a historical novel based on the 1968 Kizhwalmadi massacre, where Dalit farmers were killed by upper-caste landlords. It challenges traditional storytelling by using a fragmented experimental structure. 2. When I Hit You, or a portrait of the writer as a young wife, a semi-autobiographical novel about domestic violence and marital abuse. It received critical acclaim for its raw and unflinching portrayal of a woman's struggle in an abusive marriage. 3. Exquisite Cadavers, a meta-fictional novel that plays with form and structure, addressing issues of surveillance, storytelling, and personal versus political narratives. Poetry collections. Touch, her debut poetry collection exploring themes of caste, feminism, and desire. Miss Militancy, a bold and rebellious collection that reinterprets mythological figures like Sita, Draupadi, and others from a feminist and anti-caste perspective. Translation and activism. She has translated works from Tamil, including the speeches of Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and Dalit literature. Themes in her work: caste and Dalit identity. She critiques the caste system and exposes its brutal realities. Feminism and gender violence. Her works highlight the struggles of women, especially in oppressive marriages and patriarchal societies. Rewriting mythology. She reinterprets religious and cultural stories from a feminist, anti-caste lens. Language and power. She experiments with form, blending poetry and prose, and often breaks conventional storytelling rules. Meena Kandasamy began writing poetry at the age of 17, and she translated books by Dalit writers and leaders into English. Her work contains themes like caste, Dalit identity, feminism, gender violence, etc. Through her poetry, she critiqued the caste system and she exposed its brutal realities. Her works showcased the struggles of women, especially in oppressive, marital, and patriarchal society. Awards and recognition. Shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction for When I Hit You. Jalak Prize Longlist for Exquisite Cadavers. Recognized as a leading voice in contemporary Indian literature and activism. Next writer is Jeet Thayil. Jeet Thayil is an Indian poet, novelist, musician, and editor. He was born in Kerala, India, but grew up in various cities including Mumbai, Hong Kong, and New York due to his father's work as a journalist. Thayil's experiences in these global cities influenced his writing, which often explores themes of addiction, exile, and urban life. He has struggled with drug addiction in the past, an experience that deeply informs his writing. After years abroad, he returned to India and became a key figure in contemporary Indian English literature. So, Jeet Thayil was born in 1959 in Kerala. His father was a journalist, so he grew up in various cities like Mumbai, Hong Kong, New York, etc. His experience with these cities influenced his writing. So, his work contains themes like addiction, exile, and urban life. He was a drug addict in the past, and this experience deeply influenced his writing. After years abroad, he returned to India and he became a key figure in Indian English literature. Major works. Novels. 1. Narcopolis. His debut novel, which won widespread acclaim, explores the drug culture of 1970s and 1980s Bombay. It is known for its dreamlike narrative style and unflinching portrayal of addiction. 2. The Book of Chocolate Saints, a novel about a fictional Indian poet inspired by real-life literary figures exploring themes of art, ambition, and the immigrant experience. Law, a novel following a man dealing with grief and drug use after his wife's suicide, set in contemporary Mumbai. Poetry. Thayil is an acclaimed poet with several poetry collections including These Errors Are Correct, won the Sahitya Akademi Award for English Poetry. English, Apocalypso, Editing and Other Works. 60 Indian Poets, a landmark anthology of modern Indian poetry in English. He is also a musician and part of the music project Still Dirty, blending poetry and music. Themes in his work. Addiction and urban life. His novels and poetry often explore drug culture, excess and the underbelly of big cities. Exile and identity. His characters often struggle with belonging, whether in India or abroad. Death and mortality. Many of his works, especially Law, deal with grief, suicide, and existential crisis. Language and form. His poetry is known for its lyrical quality, wordplay, and dark humor. Thayil was a drug addict in the past, so his works contains some elements about addiction. So his themes include drug culture, addiction, urban life, etc. Thayil was born in Kerala, but he grew up in cities like Mumbai and Hong Kong. His experience with other countries were seen in his use of themes like exile and identity. Death, mortality, grief, suicide, existential crisis are some other themes used by Jeet Thayil. Use of dark humor is a feature of his poetry. Awards and recognition. DSC Prize for South Asia Literature for Narcopolis. Sahitya Akademi Award for These Errors Are Correct. Shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize for Narcopolis. Hope you understood the portion. Thank you.